Hey, welcome, my friends, to our 3-minute Thursday devotional thought here at Port Naz. I'm Pastor Chad, and so glad to be with you and to encourage you on your life and your journey with Christ. And I mean that with all that's in me, that I desire you to not walk this journey alone. There's a story I came across not too long ago of this lady back in October 1993. And here was the uniqueness. It was a headline story that said, "Lady found dead in her apartment." And you might think, well, that's not good and it's kind of morbid, but that's not odd. That happens. But this story went on. It was so unique because they found that the lady had been there for 4 years and no one knew. But the story went on and said that they tried to continue to find out why and how no one knew. She had a house that was paid off, and they actually called a brother, I guess, like years before that. They couldn't find, and they were nervous about where she was at. And he had said, well, I had heard she'd moved to a nursing home. She had left the home. And they had that dialogue maybe, but she hadn't. And the story continues to say that as they went on, that the neighbors had actually seen that there was a leaky pipe and didn't actually knock on the door because they knew they didn't want her to be bothered. So they just hired somebody to come and fix the leaky pipe. And her grass was growing long and she didn't want to be bothered. And so they began to get people and young boys around the neighborhood. They paid them to mow the lawn just to keep it up until one day, obviously, it would sell. But it would never go up for sale. And no one ever questioned. And eventually, when they found that she was gone, they called the brother and let him know. And he said he wasn't surprised that no one knew. And it shouldn't have taken this long. Years ago, they had a dispute and their mother had died and they had just never talked again. And she pushed everybody away. You see, this lady lived in her house for 40 years in this middle-class neighborhood, pushing people away, building walls and fences so people wouldn't bother her. And maybe there's some semblance in this story that happens within the church. That we begin to come and go and build walls and not really let people in. And not expose ourselves, our struggles, our hurts for the reason that we even built the wall in the first place. And maybe we can learn something from the story that as this neighborhood shows, the spirit of community results when we reach out of our seats and our areas and we begin to reach into people's lives. And not to, in a sense, bombard them or to push through things, but to know that everybody needs and desires community. It's just sometimes we don't know how to get to that community or how to let down our walls and barriers. It takes time, it takes desires, it takes prayer, and I'm going to challenge you this week to think through, as we think about Thanksgiving coming, who can you reach out to? Who can you write a letter to? Who have you built a wall or barrier to? Is there a reason why? And there's something you can do about it. Don't let another day, week, month, or year go by to let somebody be alone in a place where they need someone to reach out to them. Matthew 22 talks about this great commandment, to love God with all your heart, soul, and strength. But also then it said to love your neighbor as yourself. Friends, let's do better loving our neighbors. As we think about Thanksgiving, may we also think about who needs to be loved on today. Take some time. Who can you write a letter to, a note, a text, and just remind them that they are loved and that they are not alone in their journey. God bless you.